Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another FIFA 22 video where today I'm going to be sharing with you what I think are the best DMs in FIFA 22. Now these guys that I'm specifying today are just defensive midfielders. I would only recommend playing these guys as out and out DMs if they are in like a 4-2-2 and then the two defensive mids that are actually defensive mids. These guys will only suit those roles. As you can see, first up, we've got Matteo Guendouzi. This guy is absolutely unbelievable in game. His card is decent, but for this stage of the year, it's just kind of very average. But in game, this guy plays like an absolute monster. He plays like a mini Ruud Gullit in game, and maybe it's just the guys that have the hairstyle. But in game, he's absolutely amazing. There is a 90 rated version of this Guendouzi, supposedly, that's going to be coming, and that's going to make this guy absolutely amazing. But it will make this 86 Guendouzi quite cheap. So if you're looking for an amazing DM in the French league, look no further. This guy is absolutely amazing. He's about 250k at the minute, but this guy is phenomenal. Next up, we have got Marcos Llorente, somebody who was used a heck of a lot at the start of the game. But obviously, with Team of the Year, a lot of people have Premier League and French League squads. So this Llorente doesn't get a lot of love anymore. But when I have come up against this guy in Foot Champs, Rivals, where I've been playing with him in Draft, he is very, very good. You're kind of reminded as to how good this guy is. And this guy was kind of the popular DM at the start of the game, but obviously the way the game's gone, La Liga is not really a popular league to build. But if you are playing in La Liga, this is a guy I'd recommend as a DM. He's another one of these guys who is very, very good in game, but he's just not someone that you see very often because of the way the game's developed. But this guy is definitely one of the best DMs in the game. Next up, we've got Federico Valverde. Now, for me personally, this is the fire version of Valverde. I think this is the better version. Also, I would probably say from my own preference, I prefer Valverde to Llorente. I do think Llorente is very, very good. I just find for me personally, Valverde just maybe, he just feels a little bit cleaner in game. He feels a little bit lighter as well on the ball. I just find that to my personal preference, and this will change from person to person, I just find Valverde just suits me a little bit better. I do like the 4-star skills on Valverde as well, with it. Obviously Llorente has only got the 3-star, and Llorente does only have a medium defensive work rate, whereas Valverde does have the high defensive work rate. So in game, I just find Valverde is a bit better. There's not a knock on Llorente, but Valverde is super good. Another one of those players who was very used at the start of the game. Not so much because La Liga teams aren't super popular at the moment, but this guy is definitely a great DM if you are in La Liga. Next up, we have got Kessie, and by the way, these guys are not in any order. These are just what I think the best DMs are. We've got Kessie next. This guy is another one of those players. Now, this is only his Rule Breakers card, so this card is quite outdated. So if Kessie does get some updated, some new cards potentially in game, some new promo cards that may or may not come, I've no idea if they will. But if he does get maybe a team of the season, he might do. Milan are doing quite well, but this guy is a beast in game. He's one of those mids that for me, he's one of the most tricky to play against. He just seems to have sort of massive legs in game. He just seems one of those DMs that we all come up against that just seems to intercept everything. And for me, he's one of those players that seems to do that. Obviously, he's not as quick as maybe someone like Valverde or Llorente, but he just seems to always be in the right position to be able to intercept passes. Obviously, he's got great short passing, so he's great at starting counterattacks. But his positioning in game just always seems to be very, very good. Just always seems to be in the right position. And again, Serie A, like La Liga, isn't really a popular league at the moment because obviously Premier League and French League are the ways to go. But if this guy gets future promo cards, he's going to be back in people's teams for sure. Next up, we have got Fofana, someone who is just amazing. This guy's lights out good in game. Obviously, 6'1" high, which is kind of perfect for that DM role. Obviously, you prefer maybe medium high with your work rates. This is the headliners card as well. So Fofana does have the potential to get upgraded. Obviously, Lons aren't maybe going to win 4 games in a row, but he does have the potential to get upgraded. Obviously, with informs and whatnot, he's in good form this year. He's playing well, and this guy's just got everything you need to be a great DM. Obviously, he's got relatively good pace. His short passing is really good. Dribbling is very good. Obviously, his defending is brilliant. His physical's already super high, which means you can stick a shadow on him. So he's obviously going to have sort of mid-90s for pace, defending, and obviously the rest of his card is just lethal. So this guy is a perfect DM. Obviously, been in the French League as well this year, quite easy to link. So this guy is amazing in game and definitely someone that you want for your team, no doubt about it. Next up, we've got Patrick Vieira. Now, you could use any version of Vieira, obviously all versions, whether it be the baby version, the mid, the prime, or when the moments comes. Vieira is Vieira. He's just amazing in game. What I will say about Vieira, I don't think he's as good this year as he has been in previous years. I do think Vieira is still, obviously, he's still one of the best DMs in the game. There's absolutely no doubt about that. but I don't think he's as good as he was in previous years. I think, for example, last year, I thought Vieira was hands down the best DM in the game. You know, especially when the Moments one came along, it was just unbelievable. You just could not get past him. This year, I just think because there are some of the other guys we mentioned in this list, like the likes of Guendouzi, the likes of Llorente, and some of the other guys that we're going to mention, I just think some of the other guys are maybe a bit better, and Vieira is a little bit worse this year. I just think that's the way it is. But this guy is still unbelievable. So if you have any version, I have the baby Vieira, and he's just amazing. He's absolutely brilliant. But I just think there's some other guys that are a little bit better. But this guy's still phenomenal. It's still Patrick Vieira. He's still obviously 6'4", medium high. He's got all the right stats that you need to be successful in the game. Obviously good pace, great dribbling, obviously super high physical, which is really important because then you can stick, again, like Fofana, you can stick the shadow, boost his pace and defending. Maybe just the lack of agility and balance is quite low compared to some of the other DMs, but still Vieira is absolutely amazing in game. Next up, we have got another guy who's just become super popular this year. Obviously, it is Tchouameni. This is his Future Stars card. I've only played with this guy just recently in draft, and wow, this guy is unbelievable. He definitely warrants the price. This is a Team of the Year level type midfielder. Like, obviously, maybe not on the level of someone like a Kante, but this guy is just unbelievable in game. Again, he's got everything you need to be good in the game. Obviously, the super high physical, which I love on my DMs. I think having really high physical on your DMs is super important because then it gives you the ability. Obviously, I think most people would, again, do like we've done in the previous ones with Vieira and Fofana, is you can just whack a shadow on him. You can give him like 93 pace. He's then got sort of like 96 defending with the super high physical. He's already got great dribbling. Passing is phenomenal. Obviously, being 6'2" as well is great. The high work rates. Just absolutely everything you need. Obviously, French, strong links to players like Mbappe, French League. Just the perfect guy, the perfect stats to be a super good midfielder. And this guy will be somebody you can have in your team all the way up until team of the season, and he will not fall behind the power curve. This guy is just absolutely brilliant and definitely someone you need to get into your team. And then last but not least, we have obviously got quite honestly the best DM in the game this year. Obviously, it's Kante, this Team of the Year Kante. He's like 3.5 mil, but you can see why. He's for me, clearly hands down the best DM in the game. Does it warrant the price? Maybe a little bit high when you look at someone like Tchouameni and some of the other guys that are potentially coming. Obviously, that Guendouzi that's going to come, but Kante's Kante. He's just got super high pace. His passing is immaculate. His dribbling is perfect. Defending and physicals are amazing. Stick an anchor on him or something like that. Maybe a catalyst to boost the pace and passing. I probably would go with an anchor. And obviously, you've got the best DM in the game this year. So they are, for me, the best DMs in the game this year. There are some other guys who are very, very good that you can play in a DM role. For example, you can play Goretzka there. You can play Hullet there. But those guys I want to save because I want to use them in some other positions. These guys are what I would recommend just as out-and-out defensive midfielders. And they will only play in the DM. Whereas players like Hullet can play in the DM, but are probably better in other positions. So if you do have any other DMs or any other guys that you think should be on this list, let me know down in the comment section. Make sure you drop a thumbs up and subscribe as well if you're new to the channel. But that was all for today, guys. Have an awesome day. I'm out.